Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 cringiest Nickelodeon scenes ever.
How come all those people were rubbing on your foot?
See for yourself.
Huh?
Feel it. Come on. Andre, come on.
For this list, we'll be looking at different scenes from various Nickelodeon shows, both animated and live action, that had us wanting to turn our TV sets off out of discomfort. Which of these scenes had you reeling back the hardest? Share with us in the comments below. Number 10. Jimmy and Betty's Dance. The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
This party is over. Everybody out.
Hey, Jimmy.
Betty Quinlan.
Who invited Miss I'm So Beautiful and Perfect?
Don't get us wrong, we loved it when Jimmy and Betty would get together to do something, even though we knew Cindy was the one for him. However, one of their earliest encounters with each other was in the episode Party at Neutron's, and it was kind of, well, rigid and out of date. In the episode, Betty pulls some of the most cliché dance moves in television, while Jimmy kind of shakes his arms about and imitates her moves in a clear homage to Pulp Fiction, which we kinda hope no kid picked up on. We know kids can get weird when they're crushing on each other, but this was almost unwatchable. It doesn't help that the kids in the background aren't too great either.
I wouldn't dance with him if he were the last kid on Earth.
Me thinks the lady doth protest too much.
Me thinks you better button your yap before I button it for you.
Number 9. Questionable Crowds. Victorious.
They want to hear a little songy song action.
Okay, I'll sing you a song.
Speaking of unexciting crowds, Victorious arguably had this problem the worst, which is kind of alarming when your entire show is centered around musical performances. There are various episodes where Victoria Justice and her cohorts are jamming out to their heart's content. Unfortunately, that passion is lost a bit when everyone else seems to be making generic gestures and expressions.
You scream at me, I scream at you.
Really, some of these background characters look as if they really don't want to be there, but are trying really hard to seem excited just so they don't look like the bad guy. It ends up making the numbers come off more awkward than they should.
I'm not really interested.
Number 8. Freddy's Dance Battle, iCarly.
Zeke don't take no for an answer.
She said leave her alone.
Don't worry, this is the last time we're judging musical stuff on Nickelodeon. iCarly wasn't any better in the dance department either. Yeah, the show doesn't really have any dancing, aside from the random dancing segments, but when it came to Freddy, the dorkiness really showed in the episode I Dream of Dance. Not only was the Michael Jackson knockoff pretty cringy, so were Freddy's moves.
What? Check it out. Back up. What?
Honestly, we weren't sure what we were looking at. If we had to guess, some marketing executive came up with it and thought, yeah, that's what the kids like, right? New and original dance moves? Sure, but better dance moves than this. Number 7. Man's Best Friend, The Ren and Stimpy Show.
Don't you ever let me catch you on my couch. Yes, sir. There's nothing a man hates more than having his lower life forms sit on his non-living possessions.
In all honesty, The Ren and Stimpy Show would shock most people today. However, of all the episodes, Man's Best Friend is the one that had us reeling back the most, and that's ignoring the horrendous adult cartoon party season. What made Man's Best Friend so notorious was the excessive violence featured throughout.
You mustn't! He is our master! Shut up! You're next!
Given the intensity shown here, and the known problematic working conditions of creator John Kay, one cannot help but see parallels between Man's Best Friend and the show's real-world events, and it's made it much harder to sit through this one.
Why don't you ask me for a little discipline?
May I have a little discipline?
No, I don't think you deserve any discipline.
Number 6. Everything, The Thundermans. We could easily pick any cringy moment from the incessant buffet that is the Thundermans. The lame punchlines, the terrible writing, the "how you doing fellow kids"-esque promos. We just gotta shove it all into one entry though. It's all really, really cringy. Don't believe us? Well, how about the tickle scene from the season 2 finale, A Hero is Born?
I'll break her. My powers break everyone.
Or how about the moment in Come What Mayhem when Phoebe reveals her new power to Max?
My powers won't help, but Dark Mayhem's will.
That wouldn't matter unless you took them. Oh my gosh, you took them!
Do we even have to go into the way Max hits on a beach girl in Thunder in Paradise? It's all so bad that we have to wonder if the laughing audience is even real.
Now here's a site they don't mention in the travel books. Mount I Wanna Date Ya, and Mount Please Give Me Your Number.
Number 5. Cosmo's Pregnancy, The Fairly Odd Parents.
What's wrong with me? Dad, having a B word here!
Huh? You're having the baby? Okay, Earth Boy freaked out. Need explanation here?
As we sat through the Fairly Odd Baby special, we had a sour feeling in our stomachs when we saw Cosmo pregnant. Not that there's anything wrong with being pregnant, it's just how Cosmo's pregnancy was depicted. Yeah, the fairy vomit on Timmy bit was funny the first couple of times, but then they keep going with it and repeating it.
Well then, I wish I had an umbrella!
Sorry.
Tell me this is as bad as it gets?
Not even close.
The episode especially hasn't aged well given how the show fell off drastically after this point in its 16-year run. And do we even mention how terribly they portray Cosmo and Timmy here? Everything they do and say to each other feels like it comes out of malice and selfishness.
La 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 la. Why did you do this to me? Look at me. I'm fat. I'm so happy we're having a baby. Hey, where's Timmy?
Number 4. The Belly Rub Dance, iCarly.
Hey.
Yes, we had to put iCarly on here a second time, and it sort of won't be the last. iCarly featured a plethora of cringy moments, but one that kept coming back for whatever reason was the belly rubbing dance. First appearing in I Wanna Stay with Spencer, this was a dance, or something where the characters would make weird noises while rubbing their stomachs.
You could have been a fantastic lawyer.
I didn't want to be a lawyer.
Why not?
Because when you're a lawyer, you can't do this.
At first, it was annoying, but when other characters started doing it in later episodes, it just got weird. Like, uncomfortably weird. Was this supposed to be an LOL, they're so random moment to relate to the kids?
You're gonna do it. Do it right.
Number 3. Squidward's Misery, SpongeBob SquarePants.
I just can't seem to get happy. Well, that didn't help.
There have been a few jokes in SpongeBob SquarePants that are anything but funny. We could easily dissect one-course meal, but at least SpongeBob had shown some remorse. This bit from Are You Happy Now was simply tasteless. A severely unhappy Squidward tries to find even small things to get him to smile. One of these moments is when he grabs some rope and throws it onto the ceiling, saying,
I can't seem to get happy. Maybe this will help.
Perhaps this would fly over some kids' heads, but for parents, this was an alarming sight. For SpongeBob fans, it was a cringy and cheap shot to try and get laughs.
Empty, just like my miserable life. I see nothing but darkness ahead.
Number 2. Drake's Inappropriate Behavior, Drake and Josh.
Drake and I were gonna catch a movie after we got our teeth cleaned.
But the dentist tells me his 17-year-old niece is in town.
In the Season 4 episode The Storm, Drake and Josh give a cold open about how life can be unpredictable. Whereas Josh talks about his time at the dentist, Drake talks about how he wound up getting $200 and going on a date with the dentist's 17-year-old niece.
So the dentist says to me, We'll clean your teeth another day. Here's $200. Go show my niece a good time.
At the time, this was, haha, classic womanizer Drake. But that was when the on-screen brothers were in their teens. Today, Josh Peck has gone on to be in several shows and movies, while Drake Bell has faced trial and was sentenced to prison for child endangerment and sexual assault against a minor. Yeah, this joke is really cringy given what we know today.
I just thought I was gonna catch a movie, but instead, I end up with a hot girl, $200, and a half dozen free burritos.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Every joke involving feet. Anything made by Schneider's Bakery.
In. Out. Duh.
Actually, much of what we've seen from the Schneider's Bakery shows hasn't aged well. And yet again, it's because of what we know today. Show of hands, how many of us found it odd that there were so many feet jokes in many of Nickelodeon's sitcoms? Sure, they came off as a harmless and strange gag then. Now, it's so much worse.
Feel it.
Like a cloud.
It's like butter.
Yeah, I know.
In 2018, co-president Dan Schneider was outed by cast and crew over his temper, as well as potentially harboring a creepy foot fetish, specifically those of the younger female actors. Other things said about Schneider get conspiratorial from there, but when you look at just how often female characters are showing their feet, the shows get a disturbing shadow cast over them.
Fine, take a break. Second team.
I got her shoulders.
Oh man, why do I always get the feet?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.